when I work with clients, we do all the deep work. If we talk about the brand as being an iceberg, all the stuff that's below the water is the brand strategy. We do the deep work before we start getting visual, before we start going above the water for the bit of the iceberg that you can see, which is your branding, which includes colors, fonts, imagery, messaging, all the stuff that is visible above the water. And then the logo is that tip of the iceberg. And the reason everyone thinks it's so important is because it is at the top. It's the pinnacle of that iceberg. It's the bit that you can see for miles. It's the bit that goes on everything that you put out there. But as you can see, that on its own doesn't stand for anything. So nobody will buy your business because it's got a nice logo. Unless you're something like Chanel or Louis Vuitton or Nike, who have built their brand to such a state that those double C's on the Chanel logo or the iconic tick of the Nike is enough to get people salivating over the new products or new handbag or new trainers. Brand association and building it over years and billions of dollars spent in advertising, in sponsorship, in brand partnerships with sports people or models or whoever. They've built a set of values and you know what those brands stand for already. You have an emotional reaction or connection to these brands. Therefore, they can just show up with a logo and you're like, I want that thing. But for most of us, most of our businesses, we are selling products or services. So we don't even have a tangible thing to carry away in a shopping bag. It's a service. So you have to really focus on how people are going to feel about your product, service, company, offering. Tap into the emotions because we buy with our minds as well as our hearts. The logical thing is like buying, you might make a price-based decision, for example. Or, well, I'm going to buy that because it's cheaper, or a commodity-based thing. Or you might do it because they're selling the thing that you want, but you're not going to be brand loyal. And coming back time and time again and recommending to your family and friends is about how that brand makes you feel. And anybody can do that in their business. It's not just a Chanel or a Nike. You've got to think about that from your own business point of view.
Absolutely mind-blowing for me. Because when I go on to, let's say, I'm an outsider. I haven't been involved in branding or brands. And when I go on to, let's say, LinkedIn, I might see some kind of branding person, or whatever you want to call it. And what they'll do is they'll take a logo, pick it apart and say, what's good about this logo, or they'll talk about how McDonald's or someone spent X amount of £1 million on their logo, and everything's about the logo. And yeah, it's true, that's all about the color palette and the fonts, but I've never heard anyone talk about this concept of underneath the iceberg, the tonality, the tone of the voice, the user experience. I didn't realize that goes into the brand packages. Like I imagine if I worked in the brand strategies, it'd be like, okay, it's about the logo and that kind of stuff. But I didn't realize it's so much deeper, it's so much more.
There are a lot of people out there who just design logos because there is a market for people who just want a logo. All I'm saying is, but by the way, they're not my clients. They're not the people that if you just want a logo and people come to me, can I just have a logo? That's not what I do. I build brands. So I go deeper, I do the deep work, and we end up with a brand that represents not just the business, but the feeling of working with that business, and it aligns with the business owner. And there's a real buy-in from, if you've got a team, there's a buy-in from the team and a real pride around that identity because it really represents what they stand for. And also then that knocks on to the potential clients as well, who can see that. It's remarkably easy to stand out in any industry because you'd be surprised how much bad design is out there and how much bad branding. So when I take my clients through my process, they see that, and it makes them feel a lot more confident with the solution that we come up with because they can actually see the other people in their space and they know they look better. Now, when you know you look better and you know you are presenting more professionally than your competition, that has an impact on your confidence when you're going in for a sales meeting or a pitch. And that's what I tend to see, is that people end up earning more money as a result of actually doing the deep work on their brand.